For anybody whose first time it is here, or if you're stopping by for the replay, my name is Melinda Hart. You can find me at stampingwithhart.blogspot.com. Before I get to the alternate project, I want to correct myself on my last video. So when I did my my first video on paper pumpkin, and if you haven't seen it, I'll link it in the replay so that you can refer to it, because that's the one where I walk through everything that's in the kit. I hadn't seen Paper Pumpkin's version, like I hadn't seen their official video, and embarrassingly somehow I missed it in the instructions that these are Z-fold or mountain and valley fold cards. So I was folding them like this, and I know, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter, but there's a little bubble there, right? So the way you're supposed to do it is fold it like that, just nice and easy. So I was receiving a few comments on the video, and I was like, you know what, I'm definitely gonna address that. So for anybody who catches this video, these are the originally designed cards by Paper Pumpkin, and that's how you fold it, just nice and easy. So I'm so sorry that I got that wrong, and you know, people were so nice, and they're like, there's no rules and you can do what you want, and that's true, but I definitely want to be sure that I'm giving you guys the right information. So there you have it. Okay, so everybody's loving the kit. I know there have been some delays on the kit for some people, and I am so sorry to hear that, and I really, really hope that they get the rest of those kits out to you all very, very soon. I'm going to go over a few other things because we're going to talk about a treat box tonight, and I'm going to be working on other packaging, and I'm going to kind of give you guys a little, you know, viewpoint as to what I'm going to be making off camera here. So I'm going to flip here really quickly. So before I get into the annual catalog, this is the add-on. So for anybody who hasn't heard, if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, occasionally Paper Pumpkin will do add-ons, and this is the add-on where you can get mini treat boxes that perfectly coordinate with the kit. You get the hearts, you get the gold twine, and you also get the 20 mini treat boxes. I checked on this today, and as far as I am aware, they are still available. I put it in the cart just to see if they were still there. I ordered mine. So just so that you know, as long as you're a subscriber, you can order that if you need something in addition to your cards. I had asked the question on my last live, do you give out Valentine cards and or, you know, gifts? And everybody said yes. Everybody said that they are sending out cards to friends and family. They make little gifts or treat bags or treat boxes. So I definitely wanted to touch on the treat box part of Paper Pumpkin outside of the add-on. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So this is the alternate project, and let me just show you what this is and where you can find it. So these are called Scalloped Craft Treat Boxes. They are food safe. You get 8 to a pack, and then the way that these work, you get a lid and a base. The lid has the scalloped edging on it, and here is the box piece. Okay, so let me just do that. So you literally just warm up your score lines. This is a very easy box to assemble. We're going to fold these 2 panels in. And then the one that has the tab is the last one that you put down. So you're going to fold your little sides in first, and then we're going to fold in and tuck in the tab. So that is the base of our box. And if it's bowing a little, just give those score lines a pinch. Okay. And then same exact thing. We're going to warm up our score lines with the lid. You're going to put those 2 side panels down, just like that. Okay. And then here's our tab. So this panel with the tab is going to go down last. We're just going to tuck that in. You guys can let me know if you have these already. You might already have these on hand. So these boxes, and here is, I mean, how easy is that? Nice, quick, easy. Okay. We're going to dress it up a little bit, but that's the gist with the box there. And let me just tuck this back in. So you can find this in the annual catalog. Okay. And there's 3 different treat options that I'm going to make. We're going to make one on the live tonight, and then I'm going to put the other 2 in my replay. Okay, so on page 137 of the 2021-2022 annual catalog from Stampin' Up, you can find the box that I just showed you. So it's number 8, which is the Scallop Craft Treat boxes. You can get 8 of them for $10. I mean, that's a fantastic price. 3.5 by 3.5 by 2.5 inches. And like I said, they are food safe. And one of the nicest things about this is that they have that gold foil, you know, so they have a perfect coordination with the elements from the Paper Pumpkin kit, because we have all of those pops of gold foil on here too, and they just mesh together so well. Okay, so you can use those. 2 other things that I want to point out, and of course any of the packaging that you have you can turn into something for Valentine's with your Paper Pumpkin. But the 3 things that I'm going to be working with are, of course, this one here on the live. And then I'm also going to be working with the number 2 ombre gift bags. And here's a little peek at those. Now the ombre gift bags come in the in colors. So it's also the 4 other colors, but this is what polished pink looks like. Okay, and then the other thing that I thought would be a really fantastic idea are the mini Paper Pumpkin boxes. Okay, so this is number 6, and let me tell you how many ombre treat bags you get, or gift bags. I'm using the wrong phrase. Let me correct myself. For $6, you can get 20 bags. Okay, and then in 5 colors, by the way. And then with the mini Paper Pumpkin boxes, you get 10 boxes for $7.50, and this is what the mini Paper Pumpkin boxes look like. The first one that I did were alternate cards, and for this I really wanted to try to focus on the treats. So we're going to need one of our white hearts with the gold foil frame. So I'm going to get one of those. We're going to need an arrow, a die cut arrow. Okay, so we're going to get one of those. And then we're also going to need this Flirty Flamingo die cut heart. So the larger heart here, we're going to get one of these. I'm going to keep my stamping the same as the Paper Pumpkin team did on one of their card designs. The only difference is I'm swapping out gray granite for a warmer tone because of the box. So I switched it out for crumb cake, which is what we're going to use. And then we're actually going to use some Flirty Flamingo cardstock, and we're going to use some more of those envelope liners for this box. Okay, so I'll get you the measurements here in just a moment. So you'll probably need 1 or 2 envelopes. I didn't count how much I actually used of each, but we're going to put panels on each side. You know, if you want to do a panel just on the front to conserve on that, you can. But I'm going to be doing the panels on all 4 sides. And then we're going to finish with our embellishments. So I'm going to use the From My Heart Faceted Gems just to give you an alternate idea for your embellishments. Just in case, you know, you make your entire kit and you run out of your sequins or something like that, just so that you have that option. It still has that iridescent feel, but you could absolutely use your sequins from the kit on this project too. All right, so let's do some cutting. So what we need is 4 panels in 2 layers. So we're going to focus on the envelope layer first. So this panel here, like this box piece, let me just show you, okay, is 3.5 by 2.5. So what I did was I cut the initial panel to 2 by 3, and we're going to do that times 4. We're going to get 4 of them. And then the other panel is cut at 2 1/8 by 3 1/8, so that we can still see that gold foil, you know, the dots there on the box. So the other thing is you can actually line it up pretty nicely. We'll get to that. But I loved the way that that looked. I just thought that was so cute. So let's do the envelope cutting first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the sides off first so that we can unfold this. And hopefully you guys can see that. Hi Karen, how are you? Okay. And then I'm going to cut this off too. All right. So when you open that up, and we did this in the last video too, because this stuff is too good not to use, right? Whether or not you just use it in the way the paper pumpkin intended, it's going to have a lovely pop, but we are definitely going to use some of these pieces. So I am going to cut this at the score line first, and then I'm going to just trim off a little bit here so that we don't have that rough edge. Okay. And so now I'm going to take it to the 2-inch mark and cut, and then the 2-inch mark one more time and cut. And then here we would have a score line. If that doesn't bother you, you could just use that panel, but I'm not going to use the piece that has the score line in it. I could always use that for something else. So now we're going to cut by 3. Okay, so 2 by 3, and we'll save this piece for later for a different project. And then we'll cut to 3 again. Okay. And I still have this panel here to use. On this particular piece, I don't know if you can see, because that's an envelope, we have this extra piece right here, and I'm going to trim that off. Okay, so just get that nice clean edge there one more time, and let me do it this way because it's easier. It's not curved. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my 2-inch mark. I'll save that for another project. And then we're going to cut by 3. So we will need 2 envelopes, it looks like, if you want to do the 4 panels on this side. But just save that extra envelope, those extra pieces, and you could definitely use that on something else. There was something else I'm supposed to cut. Oh, I remember. The arrow. Okay, so you could just use your paper snips for this. We're just going to snip it right in half. And that will give us some freedom to hide this behind the bigger heart. So we're just going to snip those pieces in half, and then I think we are good to go. So let me do this. So I'm going to get my box that doesn't have the panels on it. Okay, so let's do the panels first, and we'll give these a second to dry. So you just want to check your measurement there, make sure you're good to go, and it looks like we are. So I'm just going to get my glue, and I'm going to adhere this first panel down, and I'm going to put the panel onto the box using the Stampin' Seal Plus, just because there's a little bit more stability, or it's a little bit stronger of an adhesive. So let me show you. What I mean. Okay, so can you see how it's just kind of lined up around that edge there? So you should hit pretty close on those on each side panel, and that helps to kind of keep your project straight, you know. It'll keep you in check. It's so helpful to have those little dots, and that keeps you pretty uniform, and you don't have to worry about it not being perfect. Okay, and so that is what the top of our box is going to look like. So let's get our box top here. I'm just going to set that aside for a minute. We're going to do our stamping. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the Flirty Flamingo ink, and I'm going to use crumb cake. So I am deviating from the gray granite that comes in the kit. Okay, but if you want to stick with that color, you can absolutely do that. So I'm just going to get out my crumb cake, and I'm also going to get out my Flirty Flamingo ink. These are the full-size ink pads. Love you. And then we're going to do our arrow and crumb cake. And these are the stamps from the kit. Going to give a little bit of spacing in between there. And then we'll do more. Okay, and that's it for the stamping. So if you plan on putting a 3x3 card would fit in here so nicely. So if you'd want to do a 3x3 coordinating card, you could do that. That would be so adorable. But that's all that we have to do for the box. And what we're going to do here is, let me show you. So we're going to layer this on top of our Flirty Flamingo heart. And I'm going to put this up on dimensionals, and you do get the mini dimensionals that look like this, just in a smaller pack, but they look like this. You can use those for, you know, popping up your hearts if you want. I'm going to use my full-size dimensionals here. It's a larger heart. So just use what you have, or use what they give you in the kit. And pop that down there. Okay. And then I'm just going to line this up. See if I can do that with as centered as I can. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to adhere this, but before we adhere this down, we're going to secure our arrow. So I'm going to use glue dots for this, but you can use, whatever you're comfortable using. You get adhesive dots, a sheet of adhesive dots, which would also be fine, from the Paper Pumpkin kit. I have my glue dots right here. And so what I wanted to do was kind of get my arrow. You could do this on any of your projects, but these arrows are too cute not to use. So we're going to go from edge to edge here, and we're going to try to use that diagonal for our line. Okay, and then I'm just going to get some adhesive right on the back here. Now I'm using the white side of the arrow, but there is a gray granite side if you prefer that. Okay, so I'm going to line this up with the dots again. Okay, this one's a little more off than this one is, so you can decide what works for you. And then we're going to put another glue dot on the arrowhead here, the gray granite side down. If you plan on the tip being off the edge, just make sure you don't put your glue on the edge. Okay, and so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to see with this diagonal here and these dots how straight I am. Okay, and then once I kind of get that arrowhead positioned right, I'm going to pop a second glue dot right underneath this little piece that's floating around. It's going to be covered by the heart, but I don't think it hurts to give it a little extra adhesive so it doesn't move. Okay, and then we're just going to put this down with our seal, but if you want to have that pop up on dimensionals as well, that would be equally cute. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I'm kind of focusing on that dot right there to be center. Okay, so these are the From My Heart Faceted Gems, if you didn't hear me say it before. There's 3 colors. We're going to be using the pink one. I already put these on my dots, my glue dots, because these do not have adhesive backing. Okay, so you would, want to use whatever your preferred glue is. I just have them stuck and ready to go. So I'm going to put some down here. And I'm going to do one more. Why not? I'll do one on the heart here like I did on the other one. So sweet. So there's 3 on this one and 4 on this one. Okay, so I'm going to go back through comments in just a minute. But here is our project. And of course, if you have, you know, coordinating shred or tissue paper, if you save your tissue paper from past paper pumpkin kits like I do, you probably have a bunch of colors. So use one of those. But that's it. So that's our project for tonight. This is now the pre-recorded portion of the video. So for the first part of the video, I had actually done a project on a Facebook Live, which was this project here. And I promised 2 more treat box or bag ideas that I was going to record after the live, just because I didn't have time to do all 3 projects on the live yesterday. So this is the next project, and what my thought process with this is an ombre gift bag. They're in the in colors, so this is polished pink. You get 20 bags in 5 of the in colors, and then of course if you want specifically to work with the pink ones, this is the one that I'm going to be working with today. I am going to keep that XO theme going, and we're going to keep the gold theme going too. So I'm going to use my X stamp and my O stamp, and I'm going to use the Versamark ink. Okay, we're also going to be using our anti-static tool here. So just make sure you get an anti-static tool or have something to work with there if you're going to do heat embossing. And we have our heat tool along with our heat emboss powder in gold. I also think that this would look incredible in silver. I think it would also look incredible in white and black. Whatever theme you want to go with, it's going to look great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stamp a pattern all over this bag. So let's get to it. So sorry everybody, I had a video glitch while I was putting the powder over. So what I want you to do is pick the bag up from the bottom corner and let that powder go off so that you don't open up the bag and get the powder on the inside of the bag. And now we're just very lightly gonna tap this, and I think that this looks great. We're a little bit on the lighter side up here. And it's okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just gonna flip this over to the back and give it some light taps. Still looking good. I'm gonna put a little extra powder on this line and see if I can get that any darker. So let me try this. And I'm going to angle this bag down since this is the top of the bag. Sometimes a little extra powder is all you need, and sometimes it's light on the ink. Isn't that cute? I mean, don't you just love that? It is so nice. Okay, so you can either leave it as simple as this, or you can decorate the front. I wanted to decorate up the front just a little bit. Okay, so because we are working with an in color polished pink, there's a lot of coordinating in color products that you can add in if you'd like to your projects. So I'm just going to point out here that I think that this ribbon would be so sweet with this bag. One of the ideas that I saw in the catalog was they actually folded over and tied this with ribbon. Okay, so if you're going to do something like that, how sweet would that be as a package? Or you could tie it so that the ribbon is on the front. I wanted to add in these hearts. So again, I'm going to be using some alternate ideas here. These are products that you might already have at home. If you don't have that, use your hearts from the kit to do your layering with. And there are plenty of hearts in that kit that you can substitute. So you could do these, you could do the vellum heart, you could do these two die cut hearts, or of course you could use this white heart with the gold foiling. So you definitely have options there. And as a matter of fact, let me just show you what the heart foiling would look like if you want to keep it really simple. Okay, so you would just stamp your sentiment right here, just as you did on your cards, and then put your heart right in the center. Nice and easy, and that's your paper pumpkin project. For this one, I'm going to change it up a bit. So I have polished pink cardstock. I'm going to use that. I'm also going to be adding in some basic white cardstock instead of the very vanilla, in case you like to see that white over the cream color, but you could do either or, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use our heart punch pack. This is available in the annual catalog. So you have your heart and then your layering scalloped heart. These come as a pair. You would get both of them. And we're just going to punch out. Let me get my cardstock here. We're just going to punch out 2 hearts. Okay. So we got that. And we got that. All right. And then we're going to punch out 2 of our basic white hearts. That. And we're going to punch 1 of these. Okay, so if you have scrap paper like I do, I was experimenting with another product, go ahead and use that. So now we're going to do just a little more heat embossing, not too much. Now this is the part where you could say, love you friend, or love you more on your sentiments, but because I did X's and O's, I want to keep that theme going. So I'm going to do an X on one heart and an O on the other. But just know you do have your sentiment options where you can say love you more, or you can say for you friend, and it's going to look just as cute. So I'm going to repeat those steps that we just did with our heat embossing here. You could even do them like on top of each other. I think I like that. Let me do that. I'm going to do that instead. So I'm just going to put one, stack one right on top of the other. And then of course that ribbon would be run right underneath. I haven't filled my bag yet, so I'm going to wait. But if you want that ribbon look, or you want to tie it shut, how cute would that be? And don't forget about your vellum. If you have the in color shimmer vellum, get that out as an alternate for your Valentine cards as well. Okay, so there is alternate number 2. And we have really nice, you could do card, gift holder, cookies, chocolate, anything like that. Not too heavy, but there's a lot that you're going to be able to fit in here. Now we're going to work with our mini paper pumpkin box. This is what a mini paper pumpkin box looks like when it is put together. I think I have the food safe side on the outside And we're going to reverse that, and I'll show you why. But just so that you're aware that that shiny coating there, I believe, is the food safe side. So that should be the inside of your box. And you can take it apart and fix it, but your score lines might be a little bit more pronounced when you reverse it, right? But this is what it looks like. And the sizing on these, it is 5.5 by, looks like 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 by 5.5. And then in terms of how deep it is, it's 1 inch deep. Okay. So it's a really cute, nice size mini version of a large paper pumpkin box. And we're going to make something with this. So we have these really cool blending brushes. It's been a little bit of a learning curve for me. My medium for blending typically are daubers or mini daubers. So the brushes were a little bit of a challenge for me. And I come from a cosmetics background, so I'm used to using brushes, but I was not used to using brushes with ink. So I would just say be light-handed with it. Have some scrap paper with you if you want to try the blending brushes. You get 3 in a set, I believe. And they're really, really beautiful. You can actually wash these and reuse these with other colors. But we're going to be using Blushing Bride on the porous side, the flat white side, not the shiny white, like the flat white side, so that we can get some ink on this. We're going to color this box with our blending brush and our Blushing Bride ink. We have a lot of beautiful pinks. We have Polished Pink, Flirty Flamingo, Magenta Madness. You could do a lot of really fun pinks and reds if you like the traditional red color for Valentine's Day. I'm going to stick with coordinating colors from the kit. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get some ink on our brush. Just going to swirl that around, and you can see very light amount of ink here. And let me see if hopefully you guys can see the lighting is good. And then we're going to just start dabbing this off. This is because I want you to see. If you go straight to the paper, you might get a little bit more of like a harsh mark like this. It's not the end of the world, right? Because you're learning as you go, and you can always cover up your mistakes with an embellishment or a layer or something like that. But I definitely encourage you to try it. Look at how beautiful that is as a pink. So we're going to just start coloring this box. Okay, but this is a really soft, pretty pink. I'm happy with this. Okay, so you could do the intensity as much as you want. It's going to pick up more color on these scored edges, but for somebody like me who likes a vintage look, that kind of makes it look a little bit worn. So I like that. If you don't like that, just don't put your box together the wrong way in the first place, and you should have much better creases than I did. Okay, so I'm going to get my foam pad. I'm going to set this down. Okay, and again, I'm going to do my hearts going in one certain direction. So I'm going to clean off my stamp here. All right, and here we go. So what you're going to do for the bottom part of your box is we're gonna tuck this in. Okay, so we want these flaps in and we want these flaps in before we pull these pieces over. So once we have our two flaps going inward, we're gonna lock them in with this piece here. And we're just gonna tuck it right in here. Okay, so we're gonna do that same thing on this side. We wanna tuck in both of these tabs. And then once we have that positioned right, we're gonna just pop those right into place, and then your little tab will lock into the slot there. For the next part, we're gonna decide what we want our toppers to be. Okay, so here is the original paper pumpkin card. Now, of course, you can cut these at each of the score lines and just round the edges off. Okay, and that is what I did here with this piece. So I love the big heart on this box. This is something that I would hand to somebody, or I would put into a bigger box and pack up with a gift or maybe something like that. So I don't mind that it goes slightly over the box, but if that bothers you, we're going to run through the different heart die cuts that you have to choose from. So this is that middle heart. I just literally trimmed and rounded with my scissors. And then, I'm sorry I didn't do that on screen, but this is one of the vellum hearts. Okay, and then here is that smaller heart. And we know that they coordinate perfectly because they were all pre-printed in the kit. Now, I love that sandwich, but let me just show you what your options would be depending on what you want to do. So that's the one that I'm going to go with, but let's look at a few of the other ones. So we have these hearts that will come off here. And we already sort of did our arrow one on the other box. Oh, well, this one's already out. So if you want to layer it this way, you can. Okay, I wanted to go with a softer pink, and I think that Flirty Flamingo is a really bold, like a bolder pink. And let me show you here. So we have the Blushing Bride, Flirty Flamingo, Gold, Gray Granite, Very Vanilla, and White. So you could do a Gray Granite box, a Flirty Flamingo box, and have those really bright colors. So for me, I'm not going to go with this brighter pink on this particular project, but you can certainly do that. And then don't forget about these. So we have our white hearts with the gold foil frame here, and you could keep it really simple. Just do one heart, one layer, okay? Or if you want a complete topper across the top of your box, so if you're like me and you make a mistake and your hearts end up upside down, you have a few options there, right? You can either completely cover it, you can do more hearts in the other direction and make it both ways. But I just wanted to show you, if you wanted to do a full piece over top, you could do that too. I would restamp this just for my own. These are kind of the projects that I didn't quite hit it, but you have your options with that. I just think that this is absolutely perfect. And you also have this card base too. So if you would want to do the cream, go for the Very Vanilla, you could do that too. Okay, so if you have a gold box and you want, I know that we used to have gold boxes, gold paper pumpkin boxes, you could do the gold with the cream. That would be absolutely gorgeous. So lots of options there. I'm going to go with this one. So let me put this one down first. I'm going to try to stay away from the edges because I know it's going to overlap and I don't want adhesive on that part. Okay. Just put that right on the center of our box. And then we're going to put our adhesive down and we want to hide it. So we want to hide it somewhere behind where this other heart is going to lay. I'm going to put it right down the middle. You could do a little extra if you want. Let's make sure that's going to hide. Yeah, that should be okay. Okay, so I'm going to set that down. And now we want to put our sentiment on this one. And you can decide whichever one you want to do. So we have For You, Friend. Why don't we do a version of that here? So I'm going to do that same sort of, let me show it to you in this one. So just like it says, love you more, on this one, we're going to do for you, friend. Okay, but we're going to keep that same design. So let me do for you. I'm going to stick with my blushing bride. And then we can do crumb cake for our arrow. Honestly, gray would look gorgeous on this. You could do your gray granite for your arrow there. Okay, so for you, let's get our arrow. And should I do gray? I'm tempted. I'm tempted to do gray granite. I'm going to change my mind. Let's do gray granite since that's the hero color of our kit, the star of the show. Let me make sure this is clean. Okay, yeah, I think that gray is the right choice for this. So we're just going to say for you. And then friend. Okay, I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. My sequins have snuck onto my dimensionals. Okay, for you, friend. And now let's get our, these are our dimensional, no, not dimensionals. These are our, oh my gosh, iridescent sequins, adhesive backed. These come in your kit. And we're just gonna pop these. I think that looks good. Should I do one more over here? I feel like I should. We'll do 4. How about that? Okay, and so here is our alternate treat box. So let me see if I can bring all of these back in. So here are our 3 alternate projects. This is the mini paper pumpkin box. This is the ombre gift bag in polished pink. And here is the scalloped craft treat boxes, all as alternates. So if you're looking for different treat box or bag ideas to go with your paper pumpkin cards, or you're making something unique, here are 3 more ideas for you. All right, thank you so much, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.